Good morning, all. Welcome to
No,
Rugby
no.
Chat, 1st of October. And it's like our people down in Ashburton are having internet problems and can't hear me. No? No. So we'll see if we can work that out. But otherwise, if you can't hear me, please put it in the comments. But as far as I'm aware, I can hear me. So, anyhow. Thanks all for watching over the weekend. Sorry I wasn't around on Saturday to bring you coverage like we normally do. I was over in Marsden enjoying the hospitality of the Wairarapa Bush team and catching up with all the West Coast boys. Great game it was. Tries galore. I think there was about 9 tries altogether in the end. With of course West Coast coming out on top. But if we have a quick look at those results over the weekend, and I'll see if I can bring Mike in. So Mike, if you can hear me, please.
No, I'm still having trouble hearing you, mate.
Oh well, maybe it's because I can hear me in the background. So. Okay, so I can hear you in Ashburton. Well, there you go. So thank you, Tony Gibson. Mike's in Ashburton, so it must be just his phone playing up. But if we have a quick look here at the results from the weekend and in the Heartland Championship, so Buller did get up by hosted Mid Canterbury, but went down to Mid Canterbury by 59 points to 14. Wanganui, huge win over Horowhenua Kapiti to win the Bruce Steele Cup by 72 points to 28. King Country got up 2 late tries there by 32 points to 17. Poverty Bay capitulated against Thames Valley by 71 points to 17. South Canterbury found it tough going against East Coast. 5-all at half time, who would have thought? But they came back and won 32-17. And if you can hear me now...
Yeah, I got you loud and clear now, mate.
Oh, okay. What were you doing?
No, I don't know what's going on. I've got my other phone going on, so I think it might be a problem with my phone somewhere along the line.
Oh, okay. Well, Tony Gibson came on and said he can hear me in Ashburton, so there you go. It's not your internet down there.
Oh, I don't know what it is, mate.
Well, I was just quickly running through the results from the weekend, which we've already done 3 times, I think, now. But, South Canterbury introduced the new Fraser Park, which you were at on Saturday, 5-all at half-time. They finally got away and picked up the win 32-15 over East Coast. And, of course, the game I was at, Wairarapa Bush, got up over West Coast by 38-31. So, what did you think of... I know we had a bit of a drinking session on Sunday talking about it, but a lot of people probably didn't see that show unless you go back into our archive. How did you find the game at the new Fraser Park on Saturday?
Yeah, no, it was a good day down Timaru. The weather gods turned it on for the opening. East Coast and South Canterbury threw everything at each other. It was 5-all at half time. I think South Canterbury were camped on the Ngāti Pro line for the last 5 minutes of the first half, and they still couldn't get through. So, very good game. I think East Coast just wanted to be fair, let them down in the last half an hour. Maybe the result might have been different. If that wasn't the case, maybe it wouldn't have been different. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, because we did have a red card and a yellow card in that match, which always ends up being, that's the end of the game. Was that the case for East Coast once they lost those players?
Yeah, well, they're two influential players. Hawani Te Moana got a red card for a dangerous tackle on Steve Kakala, and Rangi Fraser got a yellow card for a head high. So, it's hard to say whether it would have made a difference. But in saying that, South Canterbury only found their gears in probably the last 20 minutes. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I mean the thing is, Tarangi Fraser's been scoring them from everywhere, and Hawani, as I said, that was his 50th game too, so plenty of experience sent from the field. But the good thing is, though, we've still got a week to go. Before we jump into that, we'll have a quick look at how the semi-finals in the Farah Palmer Cup went. County's been leading the way all the way through 2024. Canterbury went up there and got the win, 36-31. I believe we picked that last week. And the Waikato women just completely destroyed the Auckland Storm by 69 points to 12. That sets up a Farah Palmer Cup final on Saturday afternoon at FMG Stadium. Waikato taking on Canterbury. This could be a doozy of a game.
Yeah. The Farah Palmer Cup's shaping up to be quite an interesting competition. I don't follow it that much, but I see all the highlights on social media, and it's going to be a great game, that one.
Yeah, well, I think at home Waikato have been really, really strong. So I'm going to go for Waikato there to get up over the Canterbury women. I'm going to say by 10 points, but I've got a feeling it's going to blow out. I don't know why, but I think Waikato for me to get up by 10 points. So we'll see how that goes when we do our reviews on maybe Sunday, maybe Monday, Tuesday, or even if we're doing a live feed on Saturday afternoon. I'm not planning on going anywhere, so that could be a bit of fun. And then, of course, we've got the NPC happening. And, last week, Hawke's Bay, they got absolutely smashed last week, or the last couple of weeks. And then they tended to turn around. We started off with the Taranaki North Harbour midweek game where Taranaki got up 31-25 against North Harbour. But then who saw Friday night's game, Counties Wellington, when Counties were 48-0 up against the table-topping Lions? I mean, what the is all I could think of. What happened there?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised with that result. I mean, Counties come to play, didn't they? And the Wellington didn't have much, well, if any, answers for them, really. Wondered about that result, seeing you're a Wellingtonian. But, full credit to Counties. It was a great game of running rugby.
It was great. We just had a streaker. There you go. Streaker. Whoa, quick, tackle him. Well, we've just had our first streaker on the show, which is always good. But anyway, I can't afford red badge security, but that's another story for another day. So then on Saturday we had Bay of Plenty taking on Northland. Now this brings up an interesting question for me for 2024. We had the debacle of Buller trying to get home from East Coast in week 1 of Heartland. They ended up going to Blenheim, staying the night because they couldn't fly into Westport. They also have had other issues trying to leave Westport to go to other games and having to drive to Nelson. After we did the Bay Chat show for Bay of Plenty Rugby last Friday, after we did that show, they found out that Northland's plane had been cancelled from Whangarei to Tauranga. So Northland had to bus it from Whangarei to Tauranga for that game in the weekend. It makes sense now with the way Northland have been playing pretty well this year, let's be honest. But I expected Bay of Plenty to win, but they thumped Northland by 53 points to 13. Is there something that's going to be questioned here about these travel arrangements for these teams being cancelled at the last minute from flying to these games?
Yeah, I think the rugby union needs to step in here and get some assurances from Air New Zealand. It's a debacle, to be fair. Teams shouldn't be disruptions and shouldn't be leaving players behind and should be able to get to their destinations when they want on the day, on the time. So I think there needs to be some serious discussion around, whether they, I don't know what they're going to do, Obviously, Air Chatham's play a big part for the Heartland provincial sides. I'm not too sure whether the NPC sides fly Air Chathams or not, but there needs to be some questions asked and some remedies sorted out ASAP, I think.
Yeah, well, especially because, the Sunday game we had Southland playing Waikato down in Invercargill.
Mm.
They are canning the Wellington to Invercargill.
Yeah, I know.
Plane service. Well, hang on. Is the North... and I'm asking you this as a South Islander, right? As a North Islander, I feel like we're trying to cut off the South Island here. Is it time for the South Island to secede from New Zealand and become their own country? You've got your own power supply. You've got your own produce supply. You've got, tourism. You've got everything like that. Because at the moment, it's sort of like if you are... they're going to cut off the boats. So why not just unplug the North Island and say use Huntly Power Station? I know I'm getting political here, but hey, it's crazy because the thing is, these teams need to get to where they need to go. And it must have affected Northland, is what I'm saying, them not being able to fly down. Because, what was that, a 5-6 hour bus trip?
Yeah, well, you're going to get teams, now that New Zealand have canned that route between Invercargill and Wellington, obviously teams are going to have to fly into Dunedin and then bus down to Invercargill. So it's not ideal, but as you say, teams need to get where they need to be, and some of these teams, especially Heartland teams, are facing long journeys, buses, flights, and then buses again. It's not ideal for their game day preparation, and there'll be a few towie managers out there at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah, and the thing is also, and I'll come to it when we talk about Heartland, but because there are some ramifications coming up very soon, and possible ramifications. So. But anyway, we'll just carry on. Hawke's Bay got up over Auckland. Yeah, picked that, but by 1 point. It was good to see the Magpies back on top, getting the win over Auckland 36-35 at McLean Park. And then on Saturday night we had, and we both picked it. Well, I think you went Tasman actually, or did you go Otago? Can't remember. But with Tasman taking on Auckland tomorrow night in the Ranfurly Shield, we thought, is Tasman going to have their full squad? They pretty much did, but Otago, they completely beat the unbeaten Tasman side all over the place by 47-31. Did you expect it to be A, such a high-scoring game, and B, such a convincing win for the Blue and Golds?
No, I think I might have picked Tasman in that game. I can't quite remember, but bit of a shock result there for the Tasman boys. Travelled down to Goth Bar Stadium and got absolutely dominated, I think.
Yeah, well, because the other one was, and this was a total flip, I actually jumped on Super Brew. I changed my pick to say Canterbury by 10 to be Canterbury by 12, only to sit here, watch the game. We were watching it live while we were doing our Sunday show, and North Harbour did rack up a record score against Canterbury, 65 points to 19, the worst ever defeat by Canterbury in NPC history. Where did that performance come from?
Yeah, that was a absolute clinic, actually. Canterbury's season just continues to go from bad to worse, but I wasn't expecting that result. I think I might have picked Canterbury, but there's I think the Canterbury boys left performance somewhere else that day. Oh,
totally. And then, of course, at the same time, we had Waikato taking on Southland and Invercargill. I think we both picked this. Waikato got up. They got up. It looked like it was a convincing win, 38-14, but they really had to battle for that, I thought. It was great conditions in Invercargill for that match, and Waikato were far too strong. But then after that, after we went off air, I was sitting back watching the Taranaki Manawatu game. Manawatu hadn't beaten Taranaki in 20 years or something, or 10, 15 years. And they were leading. They were going quite good until Taranaki stormed back and took the lead. Oh, I almost fell off my seat with the final score, though. Taranaki clung on to win 33-31. So much for my 20 points to Taranaki. They won by 2.
Yeah, no, that was a good game. Good to see the Taranaki Bulls back in winning form. I can't remember who I picked in that game.
No,
Older, but the
I think we both. I think we both went Taranaki.
Yeah,
sorry.
Right. No, you're right.
So we look forward. That's all the what's happened. Let's look forward to what's happening tomorrow night at Trafalgar Park. First Ranfurly Shield challenge by Auckland in 9 years. Playing Tasman, who are coming off a loss to Otago. First Ranfurly Shield match, I believe, as a holder for Tasman in Nelson. They may have played one of those stupid sort of tour matches from years back there from the holder, like Canterbury or Auckland or someone like that might have had a crack down there. But this is the first time at Trafalgar Park. The hosts are the Shield holders. Is Tasman going to do it? Are they going to hold on to the Shield for another few days before giving Taranaki a crack on Saturday? I think it's Saturday.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a tough. Sorry. Going to be a tough one to pick, I think. I'm Tasman to retain the Shield again. I'm going to say that last weekend against Otago was a speed bobble, and they should, back at Trafalgar Park in front of the home crowd, they should the Shield, I think, hopefully.
Okay, well, I'm going to go Tasman because I will never pick Auckland, and so go go Tasman. I think they'll get up by 8 points. I think that they'll have. I think the crowd alone will be worth a try to them. If you disagree with us, of course, throw it in the comments. Tell us what you think, especially if you're an Aucklander watching this. Get out there, support your team. Because the thing is, no one was at Eden Park to support them a few weeks ago. Yet you get 10,000 people doing a haka there. So go figure. Maybe you should look at putting on some better entertainment at Eden Park. You might get some crowds. I had to throw that in, I had to. So the other games on this weekend, Friday night, we have Northland taking on Otago up there at Whangarei.
I'm going to pick Otago.
Yeah. Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But Friday night, Northland, I don't know. If we look at the table there, they're pretty much gone anyway. Otago will be looking at some sort of playoff place there. I'll see if I can bring this up, the table. Yeah, so we've got Northland there sitting in 12th place at the moment. Otago in 10th. A good win there, depending on what happens above them, could push Otago quite high up the rankings. This is a tough one for me. I might have to agree with you there and go Otago. I think they'll even pick up a bonus point. There you go. Because they've got a lot to play for. Because if North Harbour and Counties drop matches in the weekend, and Canterbury drop a match in the weekend, and Waikato drop a match in the weekend, it's that tight. There's only there's 4 points between 7th and 10th. So, I think Otago will be looking at...
Hold on, I've just got someone at my door. I'll just have to shoot away for a minute. Someone's come around.
Yep, no, that's all fine. I'll carry on. Okay, so I'll just carry on. So basically Otago will be looking at hosting, been in some sort of semi-final or quarter-final, and then they'll just have to look over their shoulders, because if we go back to where we were at with the matches on Saturday afternoon, we will then have Manawatu taking on Counties Manukau. Counties are excuse me. Counties currently sitting on 8th place and on 23 points. Wellington, of course, at the top of the table on 35, with Taranaki coming second. But Manawatu and Counties, where am I? Manawatu, Counties, Manawatu. So Counties will be looking at solidifying. I don't know where I got the Wellington one from, but oh well. Manawatu, Counties. I think Counties will be. I don't know. For me, I'm going to go Manawatu here, because they will want to bounce back and finish their season on a high. They still have a chance not to have the wooden spoon this year, especially with Southland playing. So yeah, no, I'm going to go Manawatu to pick this up, so they can get off the bottom of the table. There we go. And then at 4:30, we've got Southland taking on North Harbour. North Harbour will be looking at getting into that top 4. It is in Invercargill, but I'm going to go Southland here. I think these are games that can trip up teams who have already got eyes on the quarterfinals. So I'm going to go Southland to win this by 8. And then at 4:30, we've got Wellington also at the same time as the Southland game, playing Hawke's Bay at the stadium here in Wellington. And, well, the way it's been going, Hawke's Bay off a couple of huge defeats, beat Auckland, but I think Wellington will have had a rocket up the mat training this week, and I think they will get over the top of Hawke's Bay by at least 12. And then on Sunday, if Tasman can defend the Shield on Wednesday night, they will have a final Shield challenge against Taranaki, and that's at 2 o'clock. And I'll just double check the ground for that one, because they do tend to swap around grounds, etc. I hate the midweek stuff. So no, it will be at Trafalgar Park again, and they'll be taking on Taranaki. Huge match. This could go either way, but I think the chance to keep the Shield in the Tasman region for the summer will be a big spurring moment for them all. So I think Tasman will get up there. Now, in the event that Auckland do beat Tasman on Wednesday night, they get a crack defending it against Bay of Plenty. So I know which way the Bay guys are all going to be going. They'll be cheering on Auckland right, left and centre on Wednesday night, cheering them on and hoping for a Shield challenge, because we all remember, what was it, 20 years ago I think it was, the famous victory by Bay of Plenty at Eden Park to win the Shield. So they'll be wanting to replicate that possible how can I put it, result, replicate that. But anyway, the main one I want to talk about though is of course the Heartland Championship. And where are we at? Well, here we go. We're at the tail end of the competition, and if we have a look at what's coming up, East Coast versus, or Ngāti Porou East Coast playing Wairarapa Bush, and normally I have behind me the top 4 teams, but I thought would throw in the what do you call it? The Lahore Cup currently placed teams with East Coast, Horowhenua, West Coast and King Country. With the win with West Coast over West Coast, Wairarapa have given themselves a sniff for a Lahore Cup semi-final. And so this game here is the match of the round, really, at Whakarua Park. Ngāti Porou East Coast, Wairarapa Bush. It is a virtual quarter-final. Winner takes all to get into the final placings. Ngāti Porou, well, they've got a chance to actually get a home semi-final here. Even though West Coast did get up, pick up a couple of bonus points last weekend, they could still ruin the party. And of course, I don't know, it's tough. Wairarapa Bush could have a couple of players out. East Coast could have a couple of players out. It's going to be an interesting match. If the weather holds, I think I might have to head towards Wairarapa Bush, sneaking it away to the dismay, I guess, of Ngāti Porou supporters. But I'm going to go in this game Wairarapa Bush by 8. In the next game, we've got Mid Canterbury taking on Poverty Bay, 4th versus 12th. Poverty Bay have not won, have not had a 0-8 season. They've had a couple of 1-7s, I think 2013, 2015, I think it was, off the top of my head. So my heart is saying Poverty Bay will get up because they won't want to, do an 08 season like West Coast did a couple of years ago. But I think Mid Canterbury will want to sign, seal and stamp a Meads Cup final place. So I'm going to go Mid Canterbury there to win by 16 points. Only because of the travel for Poverty Bay, and with Mid Canterbury playing into the wind at Ashburton there, I think they'll be too strong. And so we then have North Otago playing Buller. Now both of these teams unfortunately have had up and down seasons. I mean, Buller started off with a hiss and a roar, we all know that. They won the Bill Osborne Taonga, only to give it away. They unfortunately dropped the Rundle Cup in a tight match with West Coast, but they are sitting there in 10th. Pretty much the Gomberger. Well, yeah, they're playing for pride. I'd love to see Buller go over to Oamaru and win this. I think it will be a tight battle, but I don't like it. Sorry, my Buller boys and Buller friends, but I think North Otago might get up by 6 points. It's a tough one for me to choose this, but I think Buller might get up. But if we can pick up a couple of bonus points, it will make life interesting for where Buller finishes. Thames Valley, well, they travel to Whitianga to host Horowhenua Kapiti. I mean, they were on fire. 313 points, bucket loads of tries, came off with huge winning. They've been putting up cricket scores in the last few weeks. They've only dropped the one game to Wanganui, and that was only by 16 points to 14. A lot to play for here because depending on how other results go, they could still get themselves a home semi-final. I'm going to go Thames Valley to win this by 18 points, which will make life interesting down there in the Lahore Cup positions. And then, of course, we've got Wanganui hosting King Country for the Bill Osborne Taonga and the Pine Tree Log. Well, King Country have the opportunity to walk away with a lot of silverware and woodware on Saturday afternoon at Cook's Gardens. A win there would more than likely, gives them the opportunity to get into Meads Cup. But if Mid Canterbury do the business like I have predicted against Poverty Bay, they'll be just playing for the solidifying their home semi-final for Lahore Cup. But they'll be keeping an eye on Poverty Bay. But I think Mid Canterbury will win, and King Country will end up with a home semi-final at Tikawiti or Taupo, wherever they hold the game. But then I suppose, so I'm going to go Wanganui to win by 25 points. There you go. You have to. Wanganui have been just carving it up. Excuse the pun for the Butcher Boys. And the final game of that round is South Canterbury travel over the Alps to Greymouth, John Sturgeon Park for the Coal Pit Trophy. Looking for win number 39. And, well, a win here for West Coast will keep them in Lahore Cup home semi-final stages. A loss to South Canterbury would... See, this is where this game is really interesting. If South Canterbury do drop this game and Wanganui win, South Canterbury could actually finish second, which would then mean they would host Thames Valley and Wanganui would host Mid Canterbury at Cook's Gardens. If it goes to script, like the season has, South Canterbury will be hosting Mid Canterbury, and Wanganui will be hosting Thames Valley, a good north-south semi-final bash, which would give us a north-south Meads Cup final. But the interesting thing is Wanganui and Thames, I think it's their 5th semi-final in a row. Honours pretty much shared as well. So, close game away earlier in the season. Wanganui got up there. So, it's going to make life really interesting to see how Thames Valley, what happens for the semi-finals, if that's what we're going to get. Because Wanganui will not want to take Thames Valley lightly. And, of course, then the Battle of the Cantabs, wow, you know, a semi-final win for South Canterbury would bring up win number 40. So, that makes life interesting. And then if we look at the Lahore Cup, trying to put on our crystal ball thing, King Country would be hosting either East Coast or Wairarapa Bush, or King Country could be hosting Horowhenua. So there's a lot of changes there. And then West Coast, if Wairarapa Bush get up over East Coast, West Coast could be hosting Wairarapa Bush in a repeat of last year's Lahore Cup semi-final, which was played in Masterton, but now return the favour, and that game would be played in John Sturgeon Park at Greymouth. So there is a ton of movements that will be available this weekend. So Mike had to shoot the gap, but we don't have to. The Black Ferns yesterday, okay, they went down 29 to 27 to the Irish girls. It's only the 3rd time they've played, and well, I'm one that said, oh my God, how much influence did the TMO have? But really, at the end of the day, the girls could have played a lot better. There is a way around TMOs. There is a way around weird refereeing decisions sometimes, and that is just to play better. Don't make those silly mistakes. Don't take teams for granted. They're there for a reason. So they better buck up their ideas when they get to play the French and the English, because otherwise it could get nasty in Canada for the Black Ferns. As for the All Blacks, well, okay, we finished second to the champion South Africa, and well, at the end of the day, we didn't get thrashed by South Africa. Argentina did, 48-7 in the weekend. At least we were within a snuff. Not bad for a building year, so I suppose we've got to take that as a win. Australia still got a lot of work to do in their camp. Will be interesting to see how many All Blacks may be released for this weekend's games. I haven't heard anything yet, but if they do, they want to keep them running around the ground, because we're still, 4 weeks away before the All Blacks play again when they head to the Northern Tour with a game against Japan. I think it's about the 28th of October, I think it is. So the guys will want to play a bit of rugby, so don't be surprised to see them all released back into All Black camps, from the All Black camps. So that could make life interesting coming up to the final round and semi-finals and quarter-finals of the NPC. And lastly, 2026. Keep that in the back of your head. I've heard there could be changes afoot in the NPC landscape in 2026. So on that little teaser, I will sign off for now, and thank everybody for watching. We will be back hopefully on Saturday with a live coverage of all the Heartland games, and until then, ka kite, and we'll talk to you all on Saturday. Cheerio!